Hello everyone, welcome to the Scumdogs Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's Cryptid Corner mini-episode, I have bizarre stories to tell you all about today, folks. From Native Americans encountering these weird winged cryptids to these MIB who basically are related to an underwater city, folks. Let's get into the first article titled, Strange Humanoid Figures Reported Red Pheasant Cree Nation in Saskatchewan. Roof sighting video and community concern, and hear exactly what's taken place. A bizarre series of alleged humanoid sightings has surfaced from Red Pheasant Cree Nation, a Plains Cree First Nation located near North Battleford, Saskatchewan. The report includes still images of unknown figures, a video said to show a humanoid walking at another location, and growing concern among community members who believe the activity may have a spiritual or demonic component. And we're going to be looking at those photos as well, folks, that someone took on their cell phone, and they are rather concerning because they look very weird. But let's continue with the article. Location, Red Pheasant Cree Nation, Saskatchewan, Canada. Region, near North Battleford, Saskatchewan. Primary sites mentioned, community center, local high school, and a possible additional location shown on the video. Reported activity, unknown humanoid figures seen on or near buildings. One figure reportedly on a roof, another figure allegedly recorded walking elsewhere. Source material, Facebook posts attributed to Jeffrey McKeeson's still images, alleged video, and public comments from community members. Witness community reaction. Fear, concern, spiritual interpretation, calls for elders and medicine people to conduct ceremonies. Possible phenomenon type, humanoid anomaly, crawler type entity, shadow figures, spiritual manifestation, misidentified person or animal, digital distortion, hoax or cultural interpreted supernatural presence. That's quite the mouthful, folks, and gives us an idea that, there are multiple entities being seen, but we'll discuss that in a moment, folks. Let's get back to the article. Red Pheasant Cree Nation is identified as a Plains Cree First Nation in Saskatchewan, with its main reserve located approximately 33 kilometers south of North Battleford. Public background sources also describe the community as part of the Battleford's Agency Tribal Chiefs area. But folks, let's take a look at the actual photos now, because they are certainly very bizarre. We have flying cryptids, shadow people, and other entities. Here's the first photo. Let's continue. This creepy thing is being spotted during the day. Now this was yesterday. So scary. The video I seen yesterday scared me lol. Ew, my work has a juju. They said they watched it crawl under the shingles. Here's the other photo, folks. And it shows some sort of strange, human-looking figure, folks. But clearly it looks, well, unlike basically regular people, doesn't it? What is this entity, folks? Could be a hoax? Perhaps. But now let's read the actual account of what was seen in this Cree Nation reserve. The following account concerns a series of unusual images and videos reportedly connected to the Red Pheasant Cree Nation in Saskatchewan. Several images of alleged unknown humanoid figures were posted to the Facebook profile of Jeffrey McKeeson's. One image appears to show a dark crouched figure on a building's roof. The accompanying text suggests the figure had been seen during the day and that the footage frightened several people who viewed it. Another image, apparently taken on a phone screen, shows what appears to be a pale humanoid form. The image is distorted and difficult to interpret, but the figure appears to depict a thin, upright body with elongated limbs. According to comments connected to the posts, people were concerned that these things were being seen near the community center and the local high school, which would concern anyone, folks, because, this involves children and their safety, folks, especially if these entities are seen anywhere near them. But let's continue with the witness account. There was also mention of a video showing a humanoid walking at another location, though the details of that video remain unclear. Some community members reportedly suggested that elders and medicine people should conduct ceremonies to cleanse the area and protect the community from what they described as demonic things. A relative, Madeline Meechance, also shared a deeply personal statement after seeing the images. Her words suggest that the sighting reminded her of a previous dream or vision involving black demonic figures descending over Ochia's First Nation. Her statement has been lately edited for clarity while preserving the first-person eyewitness narrative. So I guess we'll basically also hear a bit of her story as well, folks, so that's very interesting. It's also almost like basically a prophetic vision that she had, with these other people seeing these black figures, or I guess maybe ghostly images or flying beings. It certainly gives you the idea here, folks, that involves all of this. But let's continue. A couple of years back, I had a dream or vision of these black demonic figures, exactly like what is seen in this picture. They were descending down onto Ochias. They also had black wings, and as they came down, the whole reserve was covered in black fog or cloud. In my dream or vision, I was terrified. I ran to tell my family and started gathering them together. My interpretation of that dream or vision is that there are too many bad things going on in the reserve, the drugs, the deaths, and everything negative in life. It is time to bring the elders and the community together to fight together to bring light and positive energy back to the people, the home fires, and our culture. These demonic things are trying to grow stronger by the day. They feed off the people who are stuck in addictions, people who are, hurting the ones they love, and families fighting among one another. And I can see how that could bring, and I really mean that, folks, how that could really bring such negative energy into people's lives. But either way, let's finish off this story, and then we can talk about it. It has become so powerful now that it is showing itself in daylight. That is the scary part, and it is no joke, because these things can physically attack people now. Smudge up my family and the whole community. I thought I would share this because seeing the picture freaked me out and brought back my dream. I hope you hear what I am writing, because this is very concerning. If nothing is done to fight these things, I pray for my community. So are these demonic entities, folks? They sound like alien beings, but there is something of the pale crawler to these accounts as well, folks, as well as Mothman, or basically these flying cryptids. Unlike basically more traditional Native American flying cryptid lore, these entities don't sound like basically, thunderbirds at all. Could they be some sort of manifestation of the negative energy, the addictions, as basically Miss Me Chance said, folks? Well, maybe brought or basically attracted to the community because of it, folks, but maybe these entities were basically created from the negative energy, almost like basically tulpas as well. It could be. Either way, very strange. But let's move on to the next article, titled Abduction Underwater City Near Shag Harbor, and talk about yet another bizarre account that took place in Shag Harbor. And we'll discuss it basically about the previous account in this, video as well, folks. But let's continue and hear exactly what this new weird, bizarre thing is. This disturbing first-person account describes an alleged abduction connected to Nova Scotia, possibly near Shag Harbor, one of Canada's most significant UFO regions. The witness recalls black-clad, gray-skinned men, telepathic control, genetic extraction, implants, a submerged dome city, and threats against her children if she ever spoke publicly. Ooh. This certainly gives vibes of the Men in Black here, folks. But this is unlike, more recent Men in Black accounts, and basically brings you back, to the beginning of this phenomena. But let's continue. Case type, alleged alien abduction, Men in Black encounter, underwater UFO facility report. Location, witness references Shag Harbor, Nova Scotia, likely Shag Harbor, Nova Scotia. Primary phenomena, black-clad entities, telepathic communication, first entry, missing time, genetic material request, physical pain, possible implant procedure, underwater domed city, underground facility, threat of retaliation. Entities reported 2 grayish-skinned men dressed in black, approximately 6 feet tall, wearing top hats with almond-shaped eyes or wraparound sunglasses. Craft location detail. Witness recalls being inside a craft that landed near a dock marked as government property, then traveling underwater to view a domed city. Witness condition. After event, returned home bleeding vaginally. Later disclosed the incident to her husband. Notable threat. Witness was allegedly warned that her children would be harmed if she spoke about the abduction. Now, that's terrifying, folks. But let's get into the actual account. I was standing behind the screen door at the front of my home when I saw an old car parked next door. 2 men dressed in black were forcing a screaming young girl into their vehicle. The men saw that I was watching them. Then they came toward my home. When I saw them coming, I quickly shut the door. I remember thinking to myself, did I lock the back door? Then they spoke to me telepathically. They told me that they could get in even if the door was locked. They told me to open the front door, and I did. They were around 6 feet tall. They wore top hats, and their skin was grayish. At first, I thought they were wearing wraparound sunglasses because their eyes looked almost almond-shaped. I tried to lead them out of the living room because my 8-month-old baby was in a car bed there. I can understand why she would do that. Though I really do not understand why she just opened the door there, folks. Was she compelled to do so? Or was it the fact that she just assumed that there was no point in just trying to resist these weird men in black. That could be the case. That's sad, if true. But let's continue and see what happened next. The next thing I remember, they were asking if I would give them eggs from my body. They said that where they came from, they needed genetic material from other races because they had reached a point where they were having problems. I told them that they could have my eggs, but they had to remove my genes from them because those belonged to my husband. Then I felt intense pain in my abdomen and screamed. I remember thinking that maybe the neighbors would hear me and call the police. They told me that the neighbors could not hear me. That was when I realized I was no longer in my home. So it seems like they either knocked her out, and she didn't realize it, folks, or they teleported her to this other location, folks. Perhaps she was beamed up to a UFO, folks. Either way, how this relates to the Dome City, we're about to see. But so far, this is a, more terrifying abduction account that I basically haven't read the likes of which for a while. It's really terrifying. But either way, let's keep going. During this entire time, they didn't let me see their faces clearly. I remember finding them as they were implanting something in my nose. One of them said to another that he had put one in my breast too. The next thing I remember, I was in a craft. The pilot was having problems with it and had landed in Shag Harbor, Nova Scotia. I could read a sign on a dock that said it was government property and no trespassing. I was told that the government knew all about them. When the craft regained power, he took me underwater and showed me a dome city. I could see buildings and streetlights, but there were no people. Asked where all the people were. After that, I was taken to a mountain that opened up and we flew inside. I was made to walk down a hallway. There were creatures being kept locked up. I could hear a man screaming as if he were being eaten alive. I asked where they got their people. I was told transients. Does she mean the people who were abducted, perhaps? I mean, she saw other entities there, folks, and she heard a man screaming. So there was more than just her there. Were they really just, homeless people, perhaps? These transients who were basically in these cages? Or were they talking about the other people in this dome city who were workers, perhaps? Either way, let's continue with this article. Then we can discuss these points a little further. Then I was put on a bus with the windows were blocked so I could not see out. I was taken to a room where an old man stood behind a desk. He told me I was going to be seen by a man who would decide what would happen to me. I remember being told that if I told anyone about my abduction or what I had seen, they would hurt my children. Next thing I remember, I was back home behind the door in my living room and I was bleeding vaginally. I told my husband what had happened and we both kept quiet for years. Later, when I told one of my son's wives that my son had a bad attack of shingles, he was only in his early 40s. This is my story, L. So, wow. She and her husband really did keep this story for decades then, because her son was in his 40s before she told anyone, apparently. That's amazing. As I said, folks, this must have happened maybe back decades ago, maybe the 80s, perhaps. I'm not so sure. Maybe even the 60s. Either way, terrifying what happened here, folks, because these entities, these men in black, don't sound like basically as I was told, don't sound like basically traditional men in black, like they're secret agents who work for the government. They sound like classic men in black encounters that basically were seen in the early 50s, these inhuman or unhuman beings with these black eyes. Sometimes they didn't basically wear sunglasses, folks, that were seen by basically some of the first witnesses to the men in black phenomena. And they're, scaly, almost fish-like skin here, folks. Because maybe I'm just thinking about that because they were based in an underwater city. Really give you that vibe that these were inhuman, alien, or even supernatural beings. Truly terrifying. But what about the first story we read about, folks? With these bizarre entities. Like the Men in Black account, folks, they are weird and bizarre, and we still don't understand anything about them. All we can hope for is that more information comes forward from any of these people. Maybe they will give us more information. We can finally understand what they are. One last point. I did mention that there was another incident in Shag Harbor. The 1967 Shag Harbor incident where something hit the water that some people think was a UFO. Do you think this is related? Maybe. Either way, we're at the end, so please go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Read comics, they're bad for you. You can use the YouTube link down below in the descriptions or the chat to go subscribe to me. Hit that like button for me. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Make sure at the part of the bell that give you all future notifications, and please share this video out. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdog's Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video. so be sure to come back again then. Until next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon.